You imagine your airline name on a clean white A320 climbing gracefully. You picture packed cabins, on-time departures, and loyal passengers returning happily. You see bookings flowing, aircraft turning quickly, profits stacking with each rotation. Then the first uncomfortable weight appears on the balance. Aircraft cost. Leasing one narrowbody can cost roughly $85,000 to $320,000 monthly. Newer aircraft command higher rents. Older frames save cash but burn fuel. Next comes time. Licenses, approvals, and systems take months before revenue starts. You start with no slots, no crews, no ground handling, just ambition. You choose one aircraft, two routes, short-haul European city pairs to begin. Cash is thin, and the runway must be financial as well. You will pay before you fly, deposits, training, manuals, and audits. Fuel dwarfs emotions, one of the largest bills every time you push. The fantasy bends underweight. Your task is balancing fare against cost. Speed matters. Minutes are money when aircraft only earn in the air. Every idle hour before launch is pure cost with zero offsetting revenue. You ask yourself, how many flights daily will cover the machinery? The first list forms naturally. Aircraft, AOC, crews, handling, slots, cash. It's romantic at a distance. Up close, it's relentless operational arithmetic. Starting fast tempts you. Starting right might save you later pain. Knowledge substitutes for capital sometimes, but never fully replaces it. You will lead the first hires, set tone, and trust. Prepare for months of cash outflow before any break-even climb. Can your first aircraft carry the costs of starting an airline? Time to see what the main asset really costs, line by line. Dry leasing is standard. Monthly rent due whether you fly or not. Industry sources show older A320s can be around $85 to $140K monthly. New A320 Neo market lease rates cluster around $400,000 per month today. Converted roughly, that is near $310,000 to $330,000 at recent rates. Lessors also want a deposit, often 2 months rent locked up. Expect maintenance reserves per block hour paid into escrow against future overhauls. Add insurance, parking, navigation charges, and handling. Your fixed base grows. Fuel, however, usually sits at or near the top bill. Typical A320 hourly burn is roughly 2 to 3 tons. Jet A1 has hovered around hundreds to over 1,000 pounds per ton. At $1,000 per ton, 2.5 tons cost $2,500 hourly. Stage length changes fuel per seat meaningfully. Longer sectors spread fixed costs. Empty seats kill you because many costs don't shrink with demand. Every seat filled reduces cost per passenger on a given sector. Your revenue per seat kilometer must exceed your cost per seat kilometer. Airlines track total CASK and CASK excluding fuel to manage volatility. Recent updates show fuel cost per ASK near 1.71 pence for EasyJet. Their costs excluding fuel have sat around 4.7 to over 5 pence. That implies total cost per ASK about 6.4 pence at that time. Your fares and ancillaries must beat those costs after discounts and promotions. Off-peak months will challenge you more than summer peaks ever will. Small misjudgments turn margins red quickly in this thin business. One aircraft magnifies errors, the next task is getting the right machine. Your main asset is the aircraft. Its condition defines reliability and economics. Older CEO aircraft are cheaper to lease, pricier to fuel and maintain. Newer Neo aircraft save fuel and emissions but rent far higher monthly. Expect the Neo's burn to be meaningfully lower on similar stage lengths. Engine type matters. Maintenance intervals and shop costs differ significantly. Airframe checks will ground you periodically. Plan downtime into fleet utilization. Type-rated crews are essential. Training pipelines must align with delivery dates. Delivery requires ferry flights, conformity checks, and initial spares provisioning. You'll stock rotable and consumable parts or contract pooling to reduce inventory. Line maintenance at your base needs contracted coverage across your daily span. Even simple tasks, tires, brakes, cost thousands when utilization is high. The APU burns fuel too, using ground power trims turn costs. Cabin layout fixes your revenue capacity. 180 seats is common on A320. Buy onboard products add ancillary income but require clean logistics. Fast, reliable cleaning teams protect on-time performance and passenger experience. Delivery conditions affect first costs. Repainting and cabin mods are expensive. Connectivity can lift revenue and NPS but adds weight and subscriptions. Every kilogram rides all year. Weight equals fuel, fuel equals money. Track parts meticulously. Untraceable components can ground aircraft during inspections. Power by the hour contracts smooth engine overhaul cash flows but raise hourly rates. The machine earns only when moving. Target double-digit block hours daily. Tight schedules sweat the asset. Resilience prevents small delays from collapsing. Choose the frame you can fly hard and afford through the winter. To carry fare-paying passengers, you need a UK AOC and approvals. The CAA process tests manuals, safety management, compliance, and operational competence. Many new carriers hire experienced advisors. The fee is risk reduction. You write standard operating procedures and training syllabi to satisfy inspectors. Demonstrations prove you can operate safely. Inspectors can ask for changes. Timelines vary, budget for many months of preparation and iteration. Regulatory scope includes dangerous goods, security, fatigue, and occurrence reporting. Add foreign permits, noise certificates, insurance certificates, and radio licenses. Fees are not just one check. Many small charges accumulate quickly. You must place contracts for handling, catering, fuel, and winter de-icing. Handling varies in price by station and time of day peak. Staff need airside passes, background checks, and local airport induction. Type ratings and recurrent checks consume time, cash, and roster slots. Cabin safety training and route familiarization are mandatory before first flight. You kit out galleys, replace life jackets by date, buy headsets and spares. IT stack choices, DCS, rostering, crew scheduling, determine daily friction. Plan proving flights and publicity carefully, then commit to commercial schedules. Emergency response plans and airport coordination are part of certification. You must establish customer service channels before selling first seat. Website, app, and payment providers are surprisingly complex to integrate reliably. Keep a contingency line. Unexpected fixes will appear before launch. When approvals arrive, your first schedule must be conservative, not heroic. Everything is finally ready to meet the only judge that matters: passengers. Your airline is a people machine as much as a metal machine. Captains in the UK often earn around low six figures annually. First officers typically earn less, though total cost includes pensions and allowances. Cabin crew roles cover safety first, hospitality second. Wages reflect responsibility. Dispatchers optimize routes, weights, and alternates to save minutes and fuel. Licensed engineers release aircraft. Without signatures, planes don't legally move. Duty managers juggle resources when aircraft or crews drop out suddenly. Rostering balances legal limits, fatigue risk, and holiday fairness across crews. Training never stops. Recurrent checks cycle month after month without fail. Beyond salaries, add per diems, hotels, positioning, and occasional overtime. Good crew productivity saves minutes. Minutes compound into flights over months. Local station leaders matter. They set reliability culture on the ground. Industrial relations need respect and clarity. Disputes explode into cancellations. Recruitment must be constant. Churn erodes experience if not replenished steadily. Safety culture grows from repeated habits far more than posters or slogans. Celebrate reliability. Consistent small wins sustain morale on hard operational weeks. Frontline suggestions often save more money than another executive workshop. Listening to engineers early prevents bigger bills and longer ground time later. Fatigue management isn't corporate fluff. It reduces incidents and sickness costs. Debriefs and just culture turn mistakes into better procedures system-wide. Budget for training even when cash is tight. It pays dividends. Mentoring stabilizes performance and transmits tacit knowledge across shifts. With the right people, your reliability and reputation begin to compound. You need routes with enough demand and limited brutal head-to-head competition. Direct distribution via your site and app keeps costs low per booking. Manage fares by season, summers sell themselves, shoulders require sharper pricing. Affordable, clear advertising still works locally. Frequency beats flashy complexity. Digital campaigns target audiences by origin and interest with measurable conversion. Influencers can spark early curiosity, but on-time stats close repeat sales. You won't beat giants everywhere. Choose times they ignore or underserve. Unbundling creates choice. Ancillaries like seats, bags, and food add margin. Vouchers and simple bundles move demand into weaker flights gently. Local partnerships, hotels, attractions can cross-promote without heavy spend. Early bookings stabilize cash. Late bookings often carry the best yields. Owning an email list matters. Third-party channels are volatile and costly. Price metas matter. Optimize fares and availability for these digital windows. Schedules win hearts. Early morning out, late evening back are prized. Even a low-cost startup can win small corporate traffic with reliability. Clear bag rules reduce gate fights. Confusion destroys goodwill and time. Smooth self-service reduces queues and staffing during peaks. Watch search data. Interest often precedes bookings on new routes. Small tactical promos can nudge load factors without sacrificing core yield. Competitors misprice or neglect. Patient consistency wins over sporadic fireworks. Deliver what you sell. Word of mouth is still the cheapest channel. Reliability is marketing you can't buy. It's earned every departure. Now you must map every pound of revenue and every persistent cost. Your core revenue is seats sold. Load factor times fare drives top line. Assume an average fare around $55–70 on short European routes. Ancillaries add seat selection, hold bags, snacks, priority boarding, flexibility. Across flights, ancillaries can be $10–25 per passenger with discipline. Payment fees and currency margins are minor but contribute at scale. Partner commissions on hotels, cars, and activities are incremental but low friction. Corporate deals trade a little yield for predictable midweek demand. Groups stabilize loads during shoulder periods, though admin effort is higher. Breakage on vouchers and unused extras is small but measurable revenue. Membership clubs create small, steady fees and increase customer stickiness. Co-brand credit deals need scale, not for a single aircraft startup yet. Belly cargo on A320s is limited but can offset marginal costs slightly. Revenue management opens and closes fare buckets to maximize total yield. Denser, predictable markets support higher yields at workable frequencies. Budget for winter troughs. Summer surpluses must cushion the lean months. Focus relentlessly on RASK versus CASK for each route and daypart. Community goodwill occasionally translates into permission for higher local pricing. Selling lounge access through partners brings margin without capex. Airport Fast Track resold to passengers can add pounds in satisfaction. Occasional buy the seat beside you offers turn empty capacity into pounds. Test everything, tiny conversion lifts matter across thousands of shopping sessions. In a good month, ancillaries should contribute a double-digit share of revenue. Fuel is usually the largest variable cost on your stage lengths. At roughly 2 to 3 tons per hour, fuel dominates marginal cost. Airports charge to land, park, and process passengers through terminals. Per-passenger charges at larger airports add many pounds per departing customer. En route charges vary by distance and weight. Plan them into route cost. Handling fees per turn include check-in, boarding, baggage, and ramp operations. Catering and waste contracts cover stock, logistics, and strict hygiene standards. In winter, de-icing can cost thousands on a single frosty morning. Tires and brakes wear fast on high-frequency turn schedules. Mandatory directives force modifications. Compliance cost is non-negotiable. Insurance for hull and high liability limits is a fixed annual commitment. Premiums vary, but expect material six-figure annual spends across the fleet. Crew expenses, hotels, allowances, transport appear wherever your schedule extends overnight. IT subscriptions, planning, rostering, DCS, EFB renew quietly yet relentlessly. Regulatory audits and recurrent training cycles consume budget and time. Avoiding unnecessary APU time trims fuel. Ground power and air save money. Cleaning contracts per turn are cheaper than bad reviews or turnaround delays. Proactive component monitoring averts costly on-stand surprises and knock-on delays. Operational data is a cost tool. Trends reveal savings opportunities quickly. Find small leaks early. Ignored drips become shop visits and weeks out. Understaffing saves nothing if it triggers delays, cancellations, and compensation. Build a calendar of fixed and variable outflows. Avoid liquidity shocks. Renegotiate annually volume, punctual payment, and data transparency by goodwill. Rules multiply noise, emissions, crew duty limits, airport slots, border controls. Slots at constrained airports tie your hands. Late allocations hurt utilization. Security and customs interventions can delay crews and flights unpredictably. Unplanned defects ground aircraft. One MEL item limits operations until fixed. Weather shuts ramps and grounds crews, turn buffers disappear in minutes. Low visibility procedures reduce capacity. Delays cascade across your whole day. One late inbound blocks the next departure. Rotations fall like dominoes. Crew timeouts strand flights. Reserve crews must be nearby and ready. Customer contacts spike during disruption. Under-resourcing magnifies reputational harm. Fuel volatility swings margins. Hedging helps but never erases exposure. UK air passenger duty is collected and remitted. Mismanagement hurts cash. Local regulations, noise curfews, labor rules bite differently across each station. AOG events cost twice. Repair bills and revenue lost to cancellations. Rare but real. Bird strikes, FOD, runway closures create forced downtime. Currency shifts influence dollar-denominated leases, fuel, and spares spending. Cyber incidents can halt check-in systems. Resilience plans are necessary. EC261 compensation adds cost when delays and cancellations cross thresholds. Industrial action, yours or airports, triggers cancellations and rebookings quickly. Stockouts force AOG, supply chain delays for parts lengthen ground time. Paperwork omissions delay permits and proving flights at the worst times. Geopolitical events reroute flights, adding time, cost, and scheduling friction. Padding schedules slightly sacrifices theoretical utilization, buys practical survivability. Expect friction, plan buffers, reserves, and contingency budgets as core strategy. Demand follows economies, recessions thin loads even on popular leisure routes. Health events can freeze travel, stranding aircraft and staff without revenue. Sterling swings change your fuel, lease, and maintenance costs overnight. Oil price shifts feed jet fuel cost. Hedges mute but don't cancel. Extreme weather increases cancellations and airport capacity constraints. Airspace closures force diversions and cancellations unexpectedly and expensively. Overflight bans lengthen routes. En route charges and fuel bills rise. Competitor capacity dumps crush yields. Matching fares burns your cash. Debt covenants threaten liquidity if utilization or margins fall too low. Missed lease payments risk repossession. Lessors prioritize asset protection quickly. Engine shop backlogs keep aircraft out. Long waits extend painful groundings. IT outages halt boarding. Redundancy and recovery drills are not optional. Reputational damage from disruptions depresses bookings even after operations stabilize. Airport staff strikes ripple through, you pay despite no direct control. Household budgets squeeze discretionary trips. Plan fares for elastic markets. Environmental policies raise costs through ETS schemes and offset obligations. Airports adjust tariffs. Higher landing and passenger charges compress margins. Failures shock demand temporarily, then competitors fill capacity ruthlessly. Investor sentiment changes route plans if you raise equity in public markets. Security incidents increase screening intensity, adding delays and staffing costs. Unexpected fuel stops add hours and bills. Contingency fuel policy matters. Survive by wargaming disruption and pre-baking responses into daily playbooks. Monarch Airlines collapsed in 2017 after heavy pressures and demand shifts. They faced currency headwinds, security shocks at destinations, and intense competition. Fuel and weaker sterling inflated costs while fares lagged under capacity pressure. Older, less efficient aircraft magnified cost volatility across long leisure sectors. A single failure day cascaded. Rescue flights and compensation piled fast. When cash tightens, maintenance timing worsens. Reliability drops, cost balloon. Delayed strategic decisions compound tactical firefighting and burn goodwill. Lesson 1. Hold more liquidity than your optimistic forecast suggests. Lesson 2. Hedge fuel prudently. Never speculate beyond risk appetite. Lesson 3. Pick airports and routes where you can be number one. Lesson 4. Invest where efficiency compounds, engines, seats, weight, data. Lesson 5. Protect winter operations with sane turn times and reserves. Norwegian's long-haul pivot strained cash as engine issues grounded aircraft. Engine shop delays immobilized seats. Fixed debt still demanded payments. Short-haul rebounded. Long-haul overreach damaged the core balance sheet. Focus matters. Diversification works only when core operations are rock solid. Industry leaders live by simplicity. One fleet type, standardized processes, ruthless punctuality. Survivors fund slow winters and one-off shocks without cutting muscle. Culture survives storms. Your people's trust determines recovery speed. Track resilience KPIs, spares, crew reserves, OTP buffers, not only classic finance. Copy the boring good habits first. Glamour follows steady execution. Carry these lessons before committing your second aircraft to the schedule. Adding a second aircraft seems obvious. It doubles potential, complicates reality. More aircraft allow frequency, better slots, and a few new markets. Frequency lifts appeal. Travelers prefer multiple daily choices for flexibility. Stagger checks to avoid both aircraft offline during critical periods. Spares stocking grows. Economies of scale begin in logistics and contracts. Training throughput must rise. Extra sim slots and instructors are essential. Parallel operations demand more supervisors and refined on-stand choreography. Bigger volumes win better per turn and per liter pricing from suppliers. Fixed costs spread thinner as total block hours rise across tails. But risk rises. Two tails mean twice the AOG chances and misconnects. Crew reserve pools must scale or one sickness wave cripples operations. Growth dips cash before it lifts it. Deposits and training eat liquidity. Ancillaries scale neatly with seats. Marginal profit per passenger stacks fast. Disruption recovery shifts from simple swaps to multi-flight reflows and charters. Watch unit costs. Bad utilization on a new route can hide losses. Don't add a third until two tails operate reliably and profitably. Scale reduces unit cost but multiplies complexity, reputation risk, and working capital. Suppliers and financiers reward reliability. Consistent OTP lowers everyone's risk. Pooling or owning a spare engine becomes rational beyond a small fleet. Adding outstations spreads brand but fragments spares and supervision lines. Mobile recovery teams reduce AOG time at thinly staffed stations. New bases need 6 months of patience before true performance emerges. Scale deliberately. Never let ego add tails faster than resilience grows. Let's model one typical short haul, London-Barcelona with 180 seats on board. Distance about 140 kilometers. Block time roughly 2 hours and 5 minutes. Successful case, 90% load, 162 passengers per flight on average. Average fare $60, ancillaries 18s. Total revenue per passenger $78. Per flight revenue about $2,600. 4 turns daily produces roughly $5,500. Assume shoulder season average after launch teething issues subside. Asks per flight around $205,000. 4 flights total about $820,000. At 6.4 pence CASK, flight costs near $13,100, 4 flights $52,500. To win, keep ancillaries strong, utilization high, fuel hedge sensibly, OTP high. Fuel around 5.3 tons. Ton price variation swings margins noticeably. Day contribution small but positive, compounding across months funds growth. Difficult case, 75% load, fare pressure to 52, ancillaries 12 line. Per flight revenue about $8,600, 4 flights $34,600 for the day. Costs barely change with fewer passengers. CASK per ASK remains similar. You'd lose roughly $1,700 to $900 that day before any monthly fixed items. Monthly lease and overheads then deepen the hole quickly if trend persists. Winter plus weather and strike stack losses unless liquidity buffers exist. You cut frequency, move times, add ancillaries, or exit the route altogether. Winning airlines exit losers fast, double down where RASK reliably tops CASK. Protect cash for shocks, protect on-time performance, protect customer trust relentlessly. The romance survives only if the maths and execution earn it daily. Do you still want the airline with its thin, thrilling margins? If yes, copy the boring winners, carry big buffers, and grow cautiously. Subscribe for the next build, from cinemas to self-storage, one decision at a time.